and then we can just do the videos after.
Sure. Excuse me.
Problem.
Should probably turn my got a whole different setup going on here right now. Hey, it went live. Oh, I gotta mute this. I can at least see the chat. Uh-oh, you gotta mute me over there.
Oh yeah, I had. Yeah, my bad. I'm watching. That's great.
I can at least see the chat. Can you mute me so I don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
hear you over there?
Well, draft started. So we are officially underway
I'm
here.
still I'm still hearing echoes, bro.
It might be my TV.
No, I'm hearing you. Is that
Oh,
me? Oh,
yeah, I
it's
don't.
me. It's me.
Yeah, I don't have anything
Sorry.
on. Yeah, no
Sorry.
worries, man.
No, it was all me. Fucking
Can you hear my
retard.
TV though, or no?
Yeah, I don't mind that. That's fine.
All right, cool.
Uh,
We got Elliot up on the screen there. He's always very professional.
yeah.
Well, yeah, man, we'll see what happens with the Flyers and
We should
with who they select. I mean,
probably tweet this out, I guess.
yeah, tweet it out. Tweet out the link. See if anybody wants to come hang out with us while we see how it goes here.
There we go.
Right from here in the middle of the stage. Now, as you know, some of these teams have celebrity pickers. So those celebrity selectors, if they're here in person, they'll come to the middle of the stage. If they're doing it,
Yo, 4 people who are watching. What's up?
St. Louis Blues, they'll be doing it from the screen. After a player comes on stage, gets the picture, gets the handshake, they will be going through a secret door. This door goes.
Oh, yo, Ted, shout out from Greece, bro. What's up?
Sweet. We got to remember that everything's on like a 20-second delay. So
Yeah, I
apologies,
know.
guys, if we respond real slow.
Yeah, everything's like a little bit delayed the first time we're really doing any sort of streaming type of deal. Usually we're pre-recorded, so gotta get used to the fact it's all 20 seconds later. I guess the real hot topic is are the Islanders going to trade for those 15 or what did they acquire earlier? The 16th and 17th pick from
15th and was it 16 or 17th or 15 and 16?
I'm not sure. Let's
I
check
can't
this.
remember off the top of my head. I think it's 15
Yeah,
and 16.
let's check it out here. Yeah, they got 16 and 17. So we'll see if they use those to try to move up. Like there's a rumor out there that they might be trying to do something with the Mammoth, the Utah at number 4. So that's obviously not in the best interest of the Flyers, though. We think about where they're picking at 6, right? If you have hypothetically, the Islanders, let's say they do trade up, they're probably doing so for Hagen. So that's not something you'd want if you're a Flyers fan. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Islanders. Um, I'm really interested though, just to see how this board shakes out. Because like we were saying on the show, like last week, you only have Shaper. You only have Schaefer really projected there as a defenseman, right? Like in the top 10 essentially. So like
Yeah.
the chances that it's only gonna be him as a defenseman. Like
I
I
think
have a
Radam
hard I have a hard
I
time
I
believing that,
think
right?
I think there is a chance that Radam Murka goes like number 7 in this draft.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see something like that
I,
happening,
again,
obviously.
we talked about it in the episode. Every single year, there's one of these massive defensemen
Yeah.
that are not projected there at all, and somehow make their way
Well,
like 5, 6 spots above where they're projected.
yeah, definitely. I'm just thinking about like look at all the mock drafts that you've probably read over the past couple of weeks. Just all the projections, right? Like
Yeah.
how many of these projections have Schaefer one, and then it's literally 9 straight forwards after that. Like we typically do not see that.
Right.
So I just wonder, like, if one defenseman gets thrown in here between, let's say, like 2 and 10, how much of a wrench does that kind of, um, how much of a wrench is that thrown to everybody else's draft boards and their projections and what other teams might want to do, right? So
Absolutely.
we'll kind of see what happens, but I would say maybe be prepared for something off the board like that. That would be interesting. What do you think, Yariv?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I get the forward heavy thing, you know. But first of all, it's a center heavy draft, and if there's anything as valuable as a defenseman, it's a center, right?
Oh, of course.
So it's like it's understandable that they all project this way, but I went through the past like 5 years draft last night. Just kind of one, you realize how much draft is just a crapshoot, and like all of us freaking out over like the top 10. There is going to be a guy who's selected like 22nd, 32, 35, 40 that will be in the top players of this draft in retrospect. Like it happens every time. But I will say, when there are centers, that is your best bet. Oh, here comes Bettman on TV.
Yeah, here comes Batman. So typically, like when I've been at the drafts the last 3 seasons, Vegas, Nashville, Montreal, usually Batman will come out at each event and at the draft to kind of kick it off. So he's basically gonna open it up, and then the draft and the picks will start from that point. So
Yeah. Give me 1 second, Vasili. I'll be right back.
yeah, no worries. Everybody's favorite, Gary Bettman here.
Had to turn up the volume.
No, no worries.
Yeah, sorry we can't do a live stream. We think we'd probably get like demonetized or something like that, so we just kind of went with this, and you can just hang out with us.
Yeah, we're just gonna be chilling and going through pick six. We'll see if we stay on like after that. We're not sure. There's a lot of picks
Yeah.
to go. So I mean, for us, we're gonna definitely react to six, and then we're gonna have some videos out afterwards if we don't stay on after. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. If you guys are watching, can you please give us a like? I know it's stupid to ask, but please thumbs
Yeah,
up on the video
yeah.
if you
If
can.
you're watching, I see 6 people are watching. If you're taking the time out of the day to watch us, we could use the like. It'll help us out here. Thanks, everybody. I don't know what the crowd's cheering, but
They're cheering about. Oh, I kind of missed it, but he's talking about decentralizing the draft.
uh,
Oh, they're doing live views into the team's draft rooms.
okay.
I'll be honest with you, I think this is never gonna happen again.
Yeah, the decentralized thing. I mean, just being there, like at the last 3 drafts with all the teams there on the floor, it's just a way cooler vibe. Like the way this is with the auditorium and stuff, it feels like you're at like a movie theater, like watching these kids get drafted. It's not that cool. It's cooler with the tables on the floor. You see all the GMs like going back and forth between tables, walking around, talking. Like you're seeing the deals in action when you're there. It makes it a
Yeah.
lot cooler. I do wonder though if like we talked about in the past on the show, like does the decentralized aspect, um, for some reason end up in more deals happening because, when there's so many teams around, things travel quickly. It might be difficult, right? So it
Yeah.
might be. So we'll see if this ends up in being, more movement. It's a kind of
I,
notorious thing.
it's kind of bullshit though, because they have to travel anyway. To travel
Yeah,
into town, it's like, and they
yeah,
have
but
these setups anyway. It's like,
I know, but I just mean like from if you look at like the draft and like all the movement that has been kind of rumored right over the last couple of weeks. There's a ton of rumors. Oh, a lot of trades are going to happen. A lot of teams are looking to move up, move down, so on and so forth. Like just being at the drafts, right, the last 3 seasons, like you hear that chatter from all the media members on the floor. You would hear all the rumors going around. It would never be as substantial as it's always perceived to be initially. So I'm kind of interested to see because we're seeing so many rumors heading into this. Is there actually going to be as much movement, or once the draft starts,
yeah,
it's going to be kind of status quo as we're used to, like, right? So we'll see if there's actually any trades. I hope so. It'll
yep,
make it fun, but I would say, be tempered in your expectations with that for sure.
yeah, for sure. I, eh, whatever. Look, there's already delays. Like we have a delay with you guys by like 20 seconds. There's a delay in them responding. It's like it's one time a year. It's literally one time every
Yeah,
year.
definitely.
To go decentralized is a mistake. You never get together like this. This is their one time to do so. I think it's a mistake.
Yeah, I think it's definitely weird. Like I think it's the one
Bettman said he
thing,
would switch back. He's like, we're gonna vote on it again next year. He's like, if they
yeah,
want to,
I think most teams will. I think it's just strange in the sense that like this is the one event that sets the NHL apart from all the other sports because they're really the only major of the four sports that had the draft centralized, right? Where all the teams were there. Most
yeah,
other sports do not. It's all decentralized format. So this kind of set them apart in a sense. If you're trying to, you know, remove yourself from the other four sports, kind of carve out a little area where it's only you that's doing this from like a marketing perspective. Like it makes a
yeah.
lot of sense, but um we'll see what
Island
happens. We
Islanders are
know
on
who
the
the
clock.
Islanders are gonna pick. I mean, it's not too I don't think it's too much of a surprise.
Yeah, so
Imagine
the
they go up there and pick Misa. That'd be wild.
no, yeah, it's not gonna happen. The
Go up there and
the
pick Higgins. Holy fuck.
considering Misa's not even the definitive number two.
Yeah.
Nobody, according to Bob's list, nobody voted Schaefer like less than one. He's one.
Oh yeah, I
It's a
don't.
true number one defenseman that is two-way, that has a chance to be like a 70 point, you know, 28-minute guy. It's like you just don't find those, and none of these guys are necessarily like Celebrini level or even Mitchkov level. Like Mitchkov, in my opinion, would be first overall in this draft,
He
or
would be, yeah.
at least second overall behind Schaefer, just
It would
because he's a
probably be
winger.
them as a 1-2 flop. It would depend, but I mean,
Yeah,
you got to think about like all the other forwards. You don't have that. There's a lot of really talented centermen in this draft, a lot of really talented forwards, but there's nobody jumping off the page like in that Bedard draft. Like if you compare, let's say, like a Bedard, Carlson, Fantilli, Michkov, like like that draft reminds me of like a 2003 type of draft, like one of those drafts that you have like once every 15, 20 years in terms of the depth of it, right?
yeah.
A lot of stars at
I
the
still
top.
think this is a good draft. I don't think it's a below average draft. I don't.
No, I think it'll be an
I
average
think it's
draft.
an
Like
average draft. It just
yeah,
lacks a
similar
franchise player. That's it.
yeah, similar to last season, right? Like
Here
that's
we go.
my thought process.
Here we go. Here's the Bettman's announcing him.
All right, we got 1 minute and three left on the clock. Just reminder to everybody it's like 20-second delay. So the
And there
pick
we
is
go.
in.
Matthew Schaefer it is. Shocking.
Wow. Yeah, I know, right?
Now it gets interesting. I actually have a buddy who is a big San Jose fan, Sharks fan. He's from the area. He lives in San Jose. I
Okay.
used to work with him, and he hit me up. He's like, "Oh, I'm here in Frondell now." He's like, I was hoping for Misa. He's like, I still love Porter Martone.
Okay.
That'd be crazy if Porter Martone goes second overall all of a sudden.
Hey man, he was really, really impressive this season. So I wouldn't, I mean, anything's possible, but it's probably likely to be Misa or Frondell
Yeah,
here.
I think it's gonna be Misa in the end. I think it's gonna go Misa, then Frondell at three,
Yeah.
then four. Well, I guess it depends if the Islanders move up, but I assumed that four was gonna be Martone,
I mean,
five Denoyer, and six
who
Hagens.
Yariv is your if you're having your choice at six for Philly, who do you want right now?
Of anybody or
Yeah, well, of anybody who's still on the board right here. Like who's the choice for you?
and Misa is not part of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, me sure. Misa's not part of it because that's probably not a
He
realistic
won't drop. There's
scenario.
no way he'll drop lower than three.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I would say probably Frondell is still my number one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I go with Frondell and then Hagens is a close second. I think
yeah,
after Hagens, it's Martone on my end.
yeah. That we're exactly on the same page. Either Martone or Denoyer if he's available.
Yeah, Denoye would be a good consolation if, let's say, Hagens is off the board as well and Martone. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, you still are checking a box off for Philly with your center depth issue, right? Like, no matter what, I mean, I think the Flyers would be inclined to want a center, potentially at six, but
Yeah,
also I think if Martone's there, you got to have the BPA factor, light bulb kind of go off in their heads just in terms of, you know, you're drafting for center, you need a center, but Martone also seems to be like a surefire, probably first liner. Whereas like if you were reaching for maybe a Jake O'Brien at 6 potentially, or a Martin, as has been rumored, that might not be as much of a surefire thing
Yeah.
in terms of a first line talent, first line player, right? So
Looks like Schaefer's in tears.
yeah, I mean, emotional time for these guys. Think about it from his perspective, right? He's worked his whole life to get to this point, so I'm sure he's going through a whirlwind right now.
Yeah. He's crying. I don't think I've ever seen a guy cry.
Yeah, he's just emotional, but hey, good on you, kid.
See, like they're talking through him through a video. Like that's, I mean, it's cool, but it's sucks at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like NFL draft. It's similar, right? Like,
Yeah.
it is pretty weird, like the way this is compared to how it typically is, where like they're up there with him,
Here, here's the
introducing
question,
him.
though. Here's the
Yeah.
question: Does Schaefer play in the NHL next year? I don't think so. It's too young. It's not even
Yeah,
18 yet.
that and I think the injuries as well, right? Like I think
Yeah.
they're gonna want him to have a full, season healthy at a lower level before, because let's say you rush him to the NHL and he is a young defenseman at
He
this
gets hurt
point.
again or something.
Yeah, I just think it's not worth the risk. Have him kind of uh just go and play at the lower level, and then see if he can kind of obviously get back to form. I'm sure that's gonna happen, but you don't want to put him in a new environment, right? Like just coming right out of the OHL, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I think he's gonna go back to Erie, play one
I
season there, rip it up, and
I think
then
so too.
go from that point.
All right, here we go. This is where the draft starts getting interesting now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Should we did you want to share screen or no?
Um, I can. I do have the board thing open. The
Okay.
problem is it cuts off on our image, but that's okay, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's all good. What people don't need to look at me. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting on my
Yeah.
couch here, man. Like whatever.
All right. Get rid of Zoom here. All right. I got
All right, cool.
Puckpedia open. Let's see if it updates quickly. Yes, it does.
Awesome.
All right. They're on the clock.
That's killer.
Let's Misa, right? Misa.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
gonna be Misa.
you know what? Like it might be Misa. It could be Frondell. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Frondell. We heard a lot of rumors. I think it would be a really good compliment to Celebrini as another ad there up the middle. Obviously, they have Eklund.
I mean, so would Frondell though, right? Because they don't have a defensive minded
That's
center
what I said.
either.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think that would be a really good ad for San Jose because he's more in the Kopitar mold. So you kind of have
Wow.
Celebrini, you can unleash him, and then you have Frondell
NH
that can be your shutdown type of guy.
NHL Network's got Denoye at 3, not Frondell.
Really interesting. I didn't realize
They have
that.
Martin at 8,
What
O'Brien at
uh
7.
what are you watching right now? Are you watching NHL Network or
No,
ESPN?
ESPN, sorry.
Okay,
I
I'm watching
said
sports.
NHL.
I'm watching Sportsnet right now.
Okay,
So
yeah, well, different countries.
fair enough. Yeah.
We don't have Sportsnet here. I'm sure
No, I
Sportsnet's
know that.
better.
Yeah, I mean, basically you got all the like the Hockey Night in Canada guys, like it's Elliott and Sam Cosentino and a couple other guys. Well, no trade so far, right? So let's you know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh,
We're still early. We're still early
yeah.
here.
This chick thinks Hagen's is going at 3 still.
Hagen's going at 3? What, the
Yeah.
Chicago?
Yeah.
I could see I mean, if I was Chicago, I would take Hagen's at 3, but for some reason they're I don't know why his stock has fallen. Like if anybody listened to our show with Steve, right? Like in terms of what he did with the USN TDP, over 100 points. You had guys like Matthews, Eichel, Clayton Keller, Jack Hughes score over 100 points in the USN TDP. They've had pretty good careers. So the fact that his stock has fallen, especially after putting up a point a game, like for Boston College in a freshman season, and of the 26 assists that he had, half of those 26 assists were all primary assists. Like I would pick Hagen's maybe at number 2 if I was San Jose.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's wild how he's fallen. I don't really understand. I'm not, yeah, like if you listen to us on here, we're not really fans of him falling. We don't really get why. He has apparently fallen in the view of some teams and in the eyes of the media. It's really puzzling to us. So,
Yeah, I
but
don't think
it could be a fortunate thing for a lot of other teams, right? Well, so it might be like I was saying in the mock article that I put up on flyersnitty-gritty.com today. Check that out, everybody. That if you look at like what happened and everything, like realistically, like I just don't get it. I just don't get how he could have fallen at all. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll see if it ends up being like a Mitchkov situation, right?
yeah.
Like that's what it's most reminiscent of for me. You have a really highly talented player, stock falls for some reason, another team capitalizes, and look how that's worked out for Philadelphia at this point. So
Yes,
if
sir.
something like that happens today with Hagens for the Flyers, I mean, it'll be almost a similar situation, a really talented kid falling in their laps at 6, but who knows? Who really knows, right? Like there's still a lot to occur here. 32 seconds on the board. We'll see what's going to happen with San Jose.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm thinking Frondell, but we'll see what they do.
Hey, dude, wouldn't shock me. I'm pretty high on them, so
Yeah, I mean, I would yeah. If
well
the Flyers, for
they look
example,
like the
were
pick is in.
yeah, if the Flyers, for example, were picking second, I would take Frondell. That would be my
Over
pick.
Misa?
I would take Frondell, yeah, for
Wow.
Misa. That's my projection and prediction, but I like the Kopitar mold. I think that's really invaluable.
Yes.
Just in terms of actually like putting together a championship type of team. There's no guarantee he's gonna end up being Kopitar. But I think just he could be a real premium goal scorer. He has that goal scoring ability. We heard Steve talk about it on the show, just with
Yeah.
his defensive awareness down low. One of the strongest sticks that he's seen, right? Like at that U18 World Championships. So I would be all over it. Like the thing with Misa that's a red flag is wasn't he on that World Junior team for
Right.
Canada? It's really puzzling, right? And that's
Yeah. That'd be
something we also
crazy if
talked about.
Misa drops to like 6
That's not gonna
and
happen
the
though.
Flyers take him. It happens in the movies, bro.
Yeah, I know. Best case scenario, obviously, but I don't think that's. I mean, fuck, anything can realistically happen.
In
We don't
this
know,
draft,
but
dude, nothing would surprise me in this draft.
I think it's gonna be Frondell here. I mean, we're gonna see. Oh shit, I should probably tweet this out too, that we're doing this live draft or live, yeah, live stream. As you can tell, we don't do this often,
Yeah,
so
this is our first like live stream ever. We actually just found out we could do this in
yeah, through
general.
Zoom and integrate. Like this is the thing is like live reaction's fun and all, but we like to be, we like to give more of an informed opinion. I feel like reacting live, you don't always get all sides of the coin. You can be rash about what you're thinking about. You don't have time to really dissect what's happening. All right, the clock ended. Like I don't see the thing is that you know why this is even weirder because usually they would have to go up there and make the pick, but now the clock's end. The clock is over. Like the clock is wound
Yeah.
down, and we don't know the pick.
Do you think there's a trade being that somebody's trying to trade for it last second here?
That'd be wild. I saw a rumor that saying the Flyers might be aggressive trying to trade up, but I don't
I
know.
just there we go. Here we go. The pick is in. Watch it be Frondell. Stop booing Bettman. Jesus Christ.
The pick is in. Here's Batman. I think my thing's a little delayed. So
San Jose Sharks is someone born and raised in San Jose. She's a WWE star.
They're bringing up a WWE female star.
to announce this pick, oh my
Yeah.
God. I want to see it. Is anybody even gonna know who this is? That's what I want to know. She's from San Jose. Oh, it's Bailey.
I don't know
Yeah.
who that is. I don't watch wrestling. I like her hair.
I
Suits the
mean,
occasion.
she I don't know, man. I guess so. What is this? So now that she's doing the pick, is it me or Fondell? Does that change it at all?
It's James Hagen's. That would be
Imagine.
insane.
Okay, but the thing is, it wouldn't really though, because he was projected number one last season. So to me,
Yeah.
it's not that insane.
It's Misa. It's Misa.
Well, there we go. Michael Meese.
Michael Misa, as everybody said over and over again.
Yeah, like the top two, right? How long has this top two been mocked Schaefer Misa? And just this past week, well, it could be Frondell. Like,
Yeah,
it's just bullshit, like draft week media speak
I
to get
know.
people interested, right? Like, we knew it was going to be Misa. I would have picked Frondell, but that's a different story. So, for
I don't
another
think I would have
day.
been able to pass up on Misa.
Oh, I
You're
mean,
not wrong in the sense that like I would have done research to find out why he didn't make the team, but
60,
it
what he
had
had
to be
62 goals in 65 games. I mean, it's pretty hard to pass up on almost a goal a game.
yeah.
Frondell, though, like I said, I like the Kopitar comparison. I think Chicago's going to take him now at 3. If Chicago
Yeah,
does
I
not
think so
take
too.
Frondell at 3, then the Flyers are really lucky
Really,
because
because I don't think he's making it past Nashville.
no, I don't know who he's making it past, but I just mean it just means to me that somebody else could be there that's off the board that you didn't expect. So who
Sure.
knows? I just mean it's going to be a weird way that this board kind of
I
falls.
it
So
also still wouldn't be crazy if Chicago took Porter Martone.
no, it wouldn't be. That's what
It's
I'm
not like they
saying.
don't need a Porter Martone.
Well,
I
I'm just
assumed
thinking.
Utah was going to take him.
Well, I just think about top line winger to play with Connor Bedard, right? So like that makes a lot of sense for them as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think for Chicago, probably Frondell, but Martone makes sense. If they do pick Martone, it'll be interesting now to just see how, like, the picks of Frondell, Hagens, Desnoyers, how that all shakes out if Martone somehow goes 3.
Yeah.
That the cadence in which those 3 fall, it will be very, very, very interesting. How many people are live with us? Does it say on your end, Yariv, when you're like
No.
streaming this? No. Gotta go on YouTube and see. I think
As
7
this
people are live with us. 6 people.
Okay. Considering we didn't advertise this at all, that's not too bad.
No, it isn't. But yeah, like I said, we'll probably stay on here till the 6th pick, react a bit, and then we'll hop off
Yeah.
and
We're gonna do
yes.
post draft content
Yeah.
pre-recorded. But now that we know we can do these live things, we're probably gonna pepper some in, maybe some post games and stuff like that during the season, or
Yeah, I think post games will be fun, like on big
maybe we
games on
can do
Saturday night.
free agency day or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
we could do something like that.
This is really weird with the
It
video.
is weird, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. I like it. I like it. Just walk up, shake the kid's hand, take a picture with the team. You know, get that awesome picture of him with the people who drafted him and worked hard to
Yeah.
scout him. This seems like a round 2 to 7 thing. You know, like we
Yeah,
love
I
you, but we
mean,
didn't make it all the way out there because
yeah, we couldn't
it's not day one.
sorry, we couldn't get you flown out there. No first
I am
class tickets.
I am interested to hear what Bill Meltzer is saying on Snow the goalie.
Sure.
Yes, it's okay. Speed he plays with, the pass he plays
So
with.
she's asking questions, we're asking them questions.
We just thought it was a perfect fit with what we already.
Yeah, they don't seem too thrilled with the format either, from what I gathered.
Don't worry, guys. We're not trying to content farm you if anybody from there is listening to us.
Nah, I mean they did it right, dude. They have like a whole squad. They got Bill
Oh, yeah.
Meltzer on.
That's awesome, man.
We
It
did
makes for good
not
content.
again, I'll say this, we did not plan this at all. We literally figured out like 3 hours ago that we could even live
Dude,
stream.
we figured this out during my work lunch break. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm on my lunch. You want to do this
Yeah.
right now?" I'm like, "I don't have a meeting. Let's go." One of the only times I'm not on calls at work. Like,
All right, this is where the draft gets interesting
Yeah.
now.
here at 3, we'll see what Chicago does. It'll set the tone just in terms of the next 4 or 5 picks afterwards, in terms of like where will things fall, right?
Yeah, dude. If we get Frondell, Martone, they have McQueen at 5. Oh, this is the new rankings, but they have McQueen above O'Brien. Then they have Martin behind O'Brien, and then Mertka behind O'Brien. Then Eklund, then Smith, then Atchison.
Yeah, Kashawn Atchison. I mean,
Dude, the
pretty
only problem
physical.
with Atchison, it reminds me of like what's his name? The dude with the crazy name from last year's draft. Yakimchuk.
Yeah, fair
That's
enough.
like, it's like this guy scored a bunch of goals, but like this year, Yakimchuk had 17 goals, not 30. It's like, is this guy have like a great season and he's like really just a number 4 defenseman?
I mean, he might be the guy. Merca, I mean, might be the guy too if there's a defenseman that flops up here into the top 10. Like Atchison might be. I think those are the 2 realistic options, but there's some other ones too, right? Like let's see here.
Damn, Luke looks exactly like Michael.
Jackson Smith, maybe. Like those are the 3 guys, right? Like if any defenseman's popping up here, obviously it's not happening here at 3, but we're talking about like maybe 10, 9, 8. If any defenseman gets selected, it's probably Merca, Smith, Atchison, I would imagine.
I don't have any interest in Jackson Smith.
No, me neither, but
I don't have any interest because I hear his hockey IQ is an issue, and I'm like that. It reminds me of David Juracek, who everybody keeps like pumping up. But if you look at David and Adam, so far they're both disappointing
not doing
players.
too great. Yeah.
Of course. Been there since we're kids, so friendly rivalry, but yeah, it's always there.
All right, I'm trying to share this out. Maybe we get more people in here with us. We'll see. Well,
I don't even know how.
We appreciate everybody who's watching live with us. Like we were saying, we don't do this too often, so we're kind of trying it out and just seeing what type of content we can do live here.
Says we have 56 views. I don't know what the hell that means.
I think maybe 56 people have watched in total. Or tuned
I
in.
don't think so.
Okay,
Maybe.
well, maybe that'd be sick. I wish. Let's see what happens. 12
Refresh
seconds
Puckpedia.
left.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, we're gonna see here what happens
Pick
in
is in.
Chicago. Here's the commish.
Players in franchise history, as well as a recent inductee into the Hockey Hall of
Duncan
Fame,
Keith.
Jeremy Roenick.
Oh. Cool. I like Ronick.
Yeah, hey, Roenick is a legend for the Hawks, legend for the Flyers, really. I mean, that OT goal in 04, right, against the Leafs, will always be a classic goal.
Hello, Chicago Blackhawk fans, and a special shout out here. No.
I wonder who it's gonna be here. I for some reason, I don't know. I think it's gonna be something weird, but
I think it's gonna be Frondell.
I want it to be something off the board. It makes it more fun, right?
Like Brady Martin.
Oh, that'd be crazy. But like I think if it's gonna be anybody but Frondell, it'll be probably Martone, right? That's
I think it's probably Frondell, maybe Martone. Could be Denoyer. All right, hit us, J-Ro.
Who's it gonna be here?
Blackhawks alumni and welcoming a new player to our storied hockey legacy and heritage. Third pick, the 2025 NHL.
Very long-winded.
Chicago Blackhawks select from Djurgården,
Anton Frondell.
It's Frondell. Okay.
Damn it.
Damn, well, nothing off the board yet. It's going pretty...
I don't think he would have made it to the Flyers anyway.
No.
I don't think he would have made it past Nashville.
It's going pretty according to plan. There also has not been any trades.
I think Denoyer and Frondell would not have made it to the Flyers.
My whole thing is this now. If you're the Islanders, and you don't get 4 here. Like,
Well,
why did you get 15 and 16? What was that for? If you
well, they were
can't trade
trading
up.
Dobson anyway.
Well, yeah, definitely. They were gonna try to do that anyway, but I mean, like,
They have a barren prospect pool. Don't forget that.
yeah, fair. They need to restock, so maybe they just want to make 3 first-round
It
picks.
was
I guess
it
we'll
was a
see.
it was a good value for a player they were probably gonna lose.
Well, he wasn't gonna resign, obviously. They weren't gonna pay him what he was looking for. So if you think about it from that, vantage point, the leverage is gonna keep going away and keep going away, and eventually they're gonna trade him for even less. So I guess they
I
just
mean,
took
but
what they
even
could
think
get.
about it. Even if they don't move up, they get
Yeah,
3 guys inside the top
pretty good. Yeah,
16.
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's where this draft is strong.
Oh
They
yeah,
get the
definitely.
best
It
defenseman in it.
just
They probably walk away with 2 forwards. It could be like Justin Carbonneau and I don't know, let's just say Cole Reshny
something
or
like that. Yeah.
right. So they walk away with 3 guys that they can advertise. But now that this pick is in, this is where it could be the trade,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Because
they
they
could
know
get a guy
Hagens is still on the board.
Like a Nesbitt or something like that. Who
Well, they
knows?
know Hagens is still on the board.
Well, yeah, now. Yeah, yeah.
I'm checking Twitter to see if there's anything.
In terms of trades, yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, there's only one man to check. There's only one guy that matters.
Right, right.
Uh,
Everybody else is bullshit except for fucking
Elliot. It's true though.
yeah.
He has
Couldn't curse.
everything. He has everything before everybody anyway. So just sit on his page. Any trade that's happening, he's gonna get it first before any
You're not
single
wrong.
other insider. So
God damn it. I really wanted Frondell, dude.
yeah, I know.
It
Steve
wasn't
was hyping him
realistic
up so
recently,
much,
but
but
when we started talking about it, it was realistic.
yeah, that's what kind of sucks about it, right? Uh,
He went where he's supposed to. He probably is the third best prospect in the draft. It was probably the smart move. And it's a great compliment to Bedard. You know what I
Well, think
mean?
about the 1-2 punch there.
Yeah.
Yeah, at center, they're going to be set up for
They
for
can
a
move
good
Nazer to
while.
the wing now if they
Yeah,
need to.
well, yeah. If they need to, like, who knows? They might just have him as a 3C or something.
Have you joined this really exciting group?
He's leaning over like he doesn't understand what they're saying. Oh, he does. He definitely knows English.
Yeah, Finnish guy, right? Usually the Finns and the Swedes know some
Finns and the
English.
Swedes, yeah, they usually know English.
All right. Well, now we're really getting into the territory where the next selections will affect and directly affect the Flyers at 6, right? I think
Yep.
we all kind of knew Schaefer, Misa, even though as much as Yariv and I want to think Frondell, we all kind of knew Frondell too. All those 3 guys likely weren't going to make it to 6. But now in the realm of, 4, 5, 6 coming up here with
And
Utah, Nashville, and the Flyers, and now it being Denoyer, Martone, and Hagens, we will see how those
he
3 and now that kind of unfolds. So
yeah, and he's one of the guys that they could probably bring into the NHL now because he's a European player, he doesn't
yeah,
risk going
no.
back over to Europe.
Yeah,
So they could
exactly. He
bring
could
him
even
into
get
their system
into
now if
yeah,
they
even AHL time as well. So yeah.
All right.
All right, Utah Mammoth pick. Well, the first ever Utah Mammoth pick. Yeah, technically.
Hopefully it's a mammoth flop.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Looks like there's no trade. I feel like they would have announced it already.
Yeah, no trade. I mean, that's a good thing if you're a James Hagens believer for
Who's
the
the guy
Philadelphia Flyers.
who's the prospect that the Islanders got this year? Was it Callum Ritchie? Is that who they got?
Yes, I think
That's
so.
what I thought, that they have to package Ritchie with the 2 first-round picks to get up to 4 to make it worth their while.
Yeah,
And that's a lot. That's
well,
3 first-round picks.
think about where Richie was selected. I mean, he was a 27 overall pick, right, from Colorado. So
Imagine they end up making that move with the Flyers at the end and everybody just gets so pissed. But Flyers aren't going to want to move back to 16, 17
no,
or
that's what I'm
15,
saying.
16.
Yeah, like I don't see the benefit for Philadelphia, especially when you're looking to add a high potential, top line center here. This is the area of the draft where you do that. 15, 16 is more of a swing at a guy that could turn into that,
To
right?
be a
So
star, yeah.
yeah, so I would say like if for the purpose of addressing your center depth here, it's not so it doesn't necessarily need to be center, but for the purpose of addressing center depth, like I would say staying at 6 is probably your best bet. So
Yeah.
it could be more tone, which I'm open to, but I think 6 here, if Hagen's around, that would be my pick. So we'll see what they do. I'm not, I mean, I see all the Jake O'Brien stuff and the Martin stuff. I don't know.
Pick is in. Pick is in, no
Yeah.
trade.
Let's
Sorry to
see.
interrupt.
That's okay.
I got excited when I saw there was no trade because that was
rumored, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like as always, all these rumors and it's always bullshit. So
Yeah.
that seems to be the case here as well. Anyways.
I think to people's credit, I think there's a lot of conversations happening, but that doesn't mean that the
But
deals
once
actually
it
go
gets
through.
down, yeah, once it gets down to it on draft day, they're just like, hey, so am I gonna trade away my shot at a top line player at number 4? Or actually, you
Yeah.
know what? That doesn't sound like a good idea. I'm just gonna make the pick. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're trading a chance at a top line player away when you're, moving any picks really inside the top 7. So
Yeah. So they are. So it's either Denoyer or Porter Martone. Hopefully it's Brady Martin, so we don't have to freaking worry about that.
yeah. If it's Brady Martin, this is throwing a whole wrench
Yeah.
into this draft. I can't believe these guys moved up 10 spots in the draft. Like I can believe it, but come on.
Is one of the PGA Tour's longest hitters.
PGA Tour's longest hitters.
Salt Lake City native, Tony Finau.
It's Finau? Oh, let's go, my boy. Tony Finau. He's a really good golfer, everybody. So if you like golf.
Salt Lake City, Utah. Super stoked to be here to make this pick on behalf of Utah and the Utah Mammoth. Being a Utah native myself, having an NHL team in Utah has been absolutely incredible. Our inaugural season, I thought, was incredible. It was great. And so forth.
Yeah, Johnny, be good in the chat. We'll probably do some live post games. It'll probably be better in terms of analysis than what's happening here. But
Yeah. This is we did not plan this at all, and I knew I'd be distracted.
yeah, like we're just trying to chill and watch the draft essentially at this point. We'll react to 6, and then we're gonna hop off after that, everybody, and then we'll do some like recorded content.
What is happening?
He's hyped.
In the 2020, the Utah Mammoth are proud to select from the Montoon Wildcats.
Denoyer.
So far, this is so far there's really no surprises at this point, and that's what I'm taking from this.
I'm a
So
little surprised at Denoyer, but not that surprised.
I'm not that surprised at it. We've seen him mocked in a lot of different facets at Florida, Nashville. So it doesn't, or to Utah. Sorry about that. But yeah, we've seen him mocked at Florida, Utah. So it's not too surprising to me at all.
So we got Hagens, Martone,
and Job or Martin. I mean, we'll see what Nashville does is going to be.
They're going to grab Hagens right
is
in
gonna
front
be
of
a
our
really
freaking face.
What if they go off the board and select a defenseman, Yariv? Let's talk about that.
I brought that up, but the fact they need a center so badly.
Yeah, I mean, probably not.
And I'm worried that they're going to take Hagens because I thought that Denoyer would go to Nashville.
Yeah, it's possible.
I thought they would grab Martone.
I was thinking maybe Martone, but a center makes sense for them too. Like if you just think about their center depth.
Yeah. I just really hope it's not Brady Martin. I don't hate him. I'm sure I can get sold on him.
Like what? They have Cooley. Who else is a center for them right now? I got to search up their lines. I'm interested.
It's Barrett Hayden.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So
who was also he was very similar to Denoyer.
He was a high pick, but I think like you could add to that group, right?
Yeah, well, they plan on it. And they just got JJ Peterka, right? So
Yeah, I mean I really like that. I think him and Cooley are gonna probably put up a
They're
lot of
already better
points.
run than the Coyotes were.
Well, yeah, I think they're gonna put up a lot of points together on the power play. Like Cooley is a monster just in terms of like his playmaking ability. Paterka has a really plus shot, so that could
Yeah.
be a pretty deadly combo. But yeah, Hayton, I mean, he had 46 points last season, fifth overall 2018 draft. So he's 3 seasons in, so we'll see if he can get that point production up. But I mean, Desnoyers is a good pick for them for sure, right? Like
Yeah.
at the worst, he's going to be your second line type of center. So
I'm getting nervous.
you getting nervous? Oh,
I'm
okay.
nervous. I
I'm
wanted
not.
Higgins, and I don't.
I'm not
I got a
nervous.
bad feeling right now.
But hey, no matter what happens here, Philadelphia is gonna get a talented player. We'll see who it ends up being. But no, I mean, I'm gonna stay positive here and think that James Higgins is still a possibility. I think um if you look at Nashville and what they might select, Martone could be the pick, right? Like 6'3", 208 pounds, like power forward type mold. They have like look at Philip Forsberg, right? They love a player like that. Not to say that Martone's going to be like a Forsberg, but
Yeah.
maybe that's the replacement.
Also, James Higgins has a connection to Teddy Stiga, who's their one or two best prospects in their system. I think they were roommates in college.
Was that Nashville?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Well, hopefully that's bullshit and doesn't equate to anything. We'll see. Um,
One of the good ones, and we're really looking forward to him coming into Utah.
Oh, it's incredible, especially coming from a great organization like Utah. Can't wait to be there.
all right. So who out of who is remaining, Yariv, what is your feeling right now? What are you looking for Philadelphia to select?
I'm looking for Higgins,
Okay.
and I'm looking for them at least to grab Martone, though it does still create an issue at center. I'm just not convinced that Brady Martin is going to be a top six center in the league, or at least first line center.
Yeah, I
And
think
I'm open to O'Brien, but
Yeah, I think at least the way it's unfolding, right? Like Hagen's could be a possibility, could be Martone. Those are the two that I think would be the best case scenarios for Philadelphia. If it ends up not being either of those guys, I would say not that the players aren't, as talented or don't have the potential to reach a similar upside as Hagen's or Martone. I just think that the likelihood isn't there compared to those other guys. Like, I think it's a lot likelier Martone and Hagen's develop into a first liner than Jake O'Brien or Brady Martin. But I could be completely wrong. So
yeah, and
don't listen to me.
there's also still Roger McQueen out there,
Yeah,
which I
McQueen
guess
is out there.
maybe Nashville nabs him. My San Jose buddy.
Is he a fan of the Misa pick?
Uh, he goes, dude, it's gonna be preseason before they finish first round at this rate. He's not wrong. It's 750, and they haven't even.
It's 750 and they're at pick 5. To be
Yeah.
fair, usually after the top 10, they start to go a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So we shall see. But usually the top, I think too, just because there's so much like net new with this all decentralized, they also are like the broadcast and everybody there isn't used to this. So I think that's making it take a lot longer too.
Yeah.
That's probably a factor, right? Because it's a whole different setup. Like the NHL's never done this before, so I think
Mhm.
it's probably setting them back a little bit. Um, we'll see who's up next for Nashville. The moment of truth is almost here. It could be James Higgins. It could be Porter Martone. It could be Jake O'Brien. It could be Brady Martin. On this podcast, we like the first two mentioned here. But we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds.
Absolutely, and I know they're looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Caleb.
Ghost Spear, you're sporting 100 fever right now watching us. Shout out to you, man.
Go
Holy
Spears,
shit.
my buddy Greg.
Oh, okay,
Greg, I'm
Greg.
sorry, brother. I'm sorry you're not feeling well.
Dude, feel better, Greg.
It's a great
Take
username, though.
a Tylenol, man. Or something. Take something to help. Those Tylenol threes, bro. Oof. Get your
Pick,
fever right down.
pick is in.
Pick is in. All right, let's see. Moment of truth here. If it is not James Higgins or Porter Martone for some reason,
I mean,
it could be Martone, but I'm saying if it is not one of those two, Flyers are in really good shape in terms
we
of their
go.
potential selection.
Here we go.
Here's Bettman.
Gonna be some country singer.
Yeah, right.
Inductee into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Okay, never mind. Oh, nice.
The Nashville Predators.
They caught him on the golf course.
Yeah, right.
2024 inductee into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Damn, he was a second round pick.
I know, right? Philadelphia Flyers. Shame. Or for a couple minutes, anyways.
Nashville Predators in the 2025 NHL entry draft. Select from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, Brady Martin.
Brady
Oh,
Martin. Wow.
Wow.
This is off
Brady
the board.
Martin. Brady
Holy.
Martin. Let's
Wow.
go.
So, like we just alluded to earlier, if Nashville did not select one of James Higgins here or Porter Martone, which they did not, they selected Brady Martin. That would be a blessing for the Flyers. Well, at this point, either James Higgins or Porter Martone could be available to Philadelphia here. Really, really good scenario. Two
Wow.
guys with top line upside. So for the Flyers, this is the best case. This is very reminiscent of Matvei Michkov, very reminiscent of Timashev getting selected, Reinbacher, all those selections.
It very much is, and the Flyers did not hesitate to take Matvei Michkov.
Yeah, the
right?
best player available at that point.
And they brought him in secret, and they didn't bring Higgins in secret, but they did.
But they still did.
They brought him in. They did talk about Porter Martone, but I think that was a fallback. I think there is a chance they go with Jay O'Brien.
This is very reminiscent.
But it's one of those three.
Very reminiscent of the Simashev pick that Arizona made at 6 that allowed Philly to take Michkov here.
Yes.
Or in 2023. So we'll see what happens.
Wow.
Brady Martin selected.
Wow.
That is wild. I did not anticipate that. We got to tweet this out, everybody. So wait a second here, and then we can talk.
Wow. Again. Wow. I'm a little bit in shock and awe right now. I'm a little bit in the shock and the awe.
Higgins and Martone both available for Philadelphia. I mean, that is a best case scenario.
That was, if you go back 6 months, 3 months. That was
something to be considered.
That was like 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 through 3 players. Let me ask you this, Vasili. Would you be mad if they took Porter Martone over James Higgins? They're both about the same age. Higgins is a month younger than Martone.
I would not be mad because I think that Higgins does have the potential to be a better player or not be mad. Yeah, I would think that Martone, sorry about that. Martone has the ability to be a better player than Higgins potentially as a BPA there. I would just be puzzled because
we need a C.
You need a center, and they're both really close talent-wise. So yeah, that's my analysis.
I guess there is a chance that Jake O'Brien goes above both of them. But
so that is where I think it would be a big blunder. If you're the Flyers here and the board has fallen to you and given you this gift of potentially Higgins or Martone, both guys who project to be, I think, top line players, either, a right winger or a center, and you're going with a Jake O'Brien who does have maybe potential top line ceiling, but I don't think it's as guaranteed as those two. I think it'd be a very big mistake for Philadelphia to, essentially bypass what's fallen in their laps here. But yeah, Brady Martin, right, rose up this draft board because at the beginning of this season, at the end of last season, after the 2024 draft, I don't think anybody thought that he would be a top 5 pick. So pretty crazy stuff. And it puts Philadelphia in a situation where they can get a top line level talent here with Higgins or Martone. So
They look ready. Pick is in.
it's quick too.
Danny looks nervous. I don't love that.
That doesn't mean anything.
Well, it could be like I'm going off the board again. People are gonna freak out. I will say nobody that they could take here would upset me.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
O'Brien.
I'd be upset with O'Brien, not gonna lie. I would be pretty upset in this, just not upset, but I would just be puzzled with the two of Higgins and Martone that are there. I think once again you're galaxy braining this, unfortunately.
Yeah. Charles Barkley, let's go.
Yeah, Barkley. Awesome.
He's a hockey fan.
Your most famous athlete, an NBA analyst, a great friend of the NHL, and a great friend of mine, coming to us from Chicago, Sir Charles Barkley. Man, I'm doing great. So tell everybody what you
Let's see who the Flyers select here. The time is now.
I'm nervous, dog.
They just want to get their name on the Stanley Cup. I admire these guys.
Who are we thinking, everybody in the chat? Who do you want? Spam the chat. Who do you want to be selected?
Pick is in. People are like, watch them trade it to the Islanders. Pick is in, guys. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to trade. Islanders don't have the assets to get the 6th pick from us.
Why don't you make the pick? Well, Gary, number one, I want to thank you for being a
They went with Martone.
Wow. I like it though. I like it.
Damn, they passed up on Higgins, though.
Wow, they passed on Higgins, but took Martone. I'm for it. I would have selected, I think, Higgins in that situation, but you can definitely make the argument that Martone was the best player available here. So
They said analytical comp is Mikko Rantanen.
that's a pretty good comparison.
Do the Flyers, are they more open to trading a winger now? It does solve the size on the wing.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of wingers. We'll see what they do. I think they will definitely try to target a center with one of their other picks here. I think it makes sense, just not getting a C here, but a lot of opportunity for another center potentially in the first round. So the Philadelphia Flyers have selected Porter Martone from Brampton of the OHL at 6. Yeah, so that's a really good pick for the Flyers. Like, if we're talking about a guy that could be a first-line level talent, played for the Brampton Steelheads in the OHL, 6'3", 200 pounds already, 37 goals, 61 assists as the captain for Brampton this past season in 57 games. Like, not too shabby. Power and finesse game for Martone, right? Can play along the boards. Yeah, can play in front of the net. He is the way that
they're going for a center with the 2nd pick.
Definitely, but the way that he and his game kind of is, right? Like, he used to be more of a shooter. This season, his playmaking ability really expanded, got up to 61 assists. So he's like a dual threat now with the shooting distributing, that he's a really good and top end playmaker and showed that in the OHL with 61 assists. Also can really, put the puck in the net too. And his size, right? Like, he can use that size to create space for himself in front of the net, go to those high danger traffic areas. A lot really good with the redirects in front of the net. Like if you look at the heat map of like where he directed a lot of his shots from this season, he's all near the front of the net. So projections, like Yariv said, Mikko Rantanen, if you're looking at like a top line type of power forward, power winger, like that's essentially what a Porter Martone would be, right?
He also was a Flyers fan, it looks like.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't realize that.
He had a Claude Giroux poster in his basement. He's so good they made him not get a center. That's a good
Yeah,
sign, dude.
that is a good sign. Well,
And
best
and
player
they didn't go for positional need. They went for BPA.
they went for best player available here. So that's something that, at least if you're thinking about what the process is for Philadelphia, they're listening to their scouts. They're listening to the guys that have put in the work all season and scouted these guys night in and night out. There's obviously a reason James Hagen's dropped. I think that would have been still a great pick for them to try to address their center depth, but Porter Martone is not a bad pick whatsoever. And he has the potential and the ceiling of a top line power forward type of winger, right?
He
So
he could make the Flyers out of camp.
yeah, right. He looked really good at the World Championships. He did play in the World Championships this past season for Canada. Did not look out of place. Was able to keep up with NHL level talent.
Wow.
So
I'm happy.
yeah, that was a great pick. He
Can
could
he
have
play
got.
center?
I wish. But yeah, Martone is definitely a guy that Flyers fans should be happy about. There's nothing to be disappointed about in terms of like a skill standpoint. He's one of the most skilled forwards in this draft. So yeah, he played with. He's saying this in the interview right now on Sportsnet that he got to play with Sanheim, Forrester, and connect at the World Championships and get to know them. So pretty cool, right? He's already got to meet a lot of the guys on this team in terms of Sanheim, Konechny, and Forrester at the World Championships, right?
Yeah. And they still have a chance to draft a center.
Yeah, exactly.
They might go D at 22, but now I'm really curious to see what Boston does because Hagen's would make sense, and so would O'Brien.
I think they're going to take Hagens, take the Boston College kid, being the Boston Bruins. I think that would make a lot of sense, right?
Damn, I can't believe Porter Martone is a Flyer.
Yeah,
It's
Porter
still blowing my
Martone.
mind. I didn't really consider it because I thought for sure they were gonna go center. You know?
Yeah, so he was sixth on NHL Central Scouting's final ranking of North American skaters, and he goes sixth. And like we said earlier, 98 points in the OHL with the Brampton Steelheads this past season.
Yep.
And another thing to note as well,
I'm
seventh,
texting Steve.
tied for seventh in OHL scoring. So he was one of the top scorers in the OHL. Like we said, right, was brought in to play and replace Bo Horvat at the World Championships. Got to play with some Flyers and mentioned that on Sportsnet being interviewed there. Getting to already know Travis Konechny, Travis Sanheim, and Tyson Forrester. So pretty cool. And I think just in terms of his skill set, right, a guy that really developed his playmaking ability with Brampton this past season, 61 assists.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it from the season before, he had 38 assists in 2023-24, got that all the way up to 61 assists. So like I was saying, right, playmaking really developed for him in terms of like vision, being able to connect with his teammates and find them in the right spots. The goal scoring stayed consistent though, like 60 games in 2023-24, 33 goals, 57 games in 2024-25, and 37 goals. So consistent in terms of the goal scoring. The last two seasons in the OHL playing for the Steelheads. Assist metrics really go up to 61, and then in the playoffs, in 6 games for Brampton, 9 points, 4 goals, and 5 assists. So the stats are there, and he's not a guy that's going to need to put on a ton of height or weight, right? He's already 6'3", 208. Could be a guy that is closer to NHL ready than maybe a Hagens, who was listed at, I believe, a 5'11", 177. So that could be
5'10" and a
the
half.
thing. 5'10", yeah, that could be the thinking, right?
Oh, Adam Sandler.
That's pretty cool. In terms of Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out end of July, right? So that's a pretty cool thing that they did.
James Higgins
It's James Higgins.
from Boston College. I mean, it makes sense.
Yep, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm a little sad that we didn't find our center, you know?
They took best player available. That's what happened here. Picking Martone over Higgins shows that the Flyers went BPA. So yeah. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy here with the pick.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I would have been happy with Higgins too. The
That's
only
what I'm saying.
problem is
I
we
don't
got to
think
find a center still. There's other ways, but we still got to find a center.
I think now the Flyers are going to use wing assets to potentially do that at some point. I don't know when, but um, that
Yeah,
seems like the move, right? Or really dipping into free agency next season with all the cap space to buy a center
maybe
at
that's
two.
their thought. Well, we don't know. They still have 2 first-round picks left as well.
Yeah,
3
anything. I mean,
seconds.
they could pick two centers with those firsts as well and add the depth, right? So we'll have to see.
Out there, Islanders fans are crying right now.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's crazy to me that Brady Martin goes 5 and gives Philly like the best case scenario of either Martone or Higgins.
I
So
know.
yeah,
And we didn't go for center, which is what everybody thought for sure we were drafting a center.
well, all it means to me is that the Flyers went best player available. They believe that Porter Martone was the
Right.
best player
Yes.
available over James Higgins. And in that
Well, they want the
situation,
size.
yeah, they want the size, but would you rather them draft for need if the scouts are saying no, Martone is significantly better than Higgins? That's what we believe from watching him,
No, you're right. You're right.
right? Like I
Yeah.
think that is something you want your GM to do is trust the scouts. So
Yeah.
that's what it looks like the Flyers have done. Obviously, the scouts, because from a need perspective, you needed a center. So obviously, the scouts had to believe that Martone was the best player, better than Higgins, despite the fact they need a center. I think them getting Zegras also factors in a little bit.
Yeah, I think it makes them more comfortable to draft a winger knowing you have a 24-year-old center who is essentially a Jay O'Brien or a James Higgins, right? It's a playmaking,
Yeah,
dynamic forward who in this draft year would have probably gone in the top, 6, 7, just like
yeah,
Higgins
exactly.
did,
And
right? So
shout out to Anthony Sanfilippo, right? He tweeted out that he heard this was earlier at 5:14. He heard the Flyers had some spirited discussions over the last 24 hours. A name they will now think about if he's there at 6 that they weren't thinking about before the Zegers trade, like we just mentioned, is Porter Martone. So it seems like they already had this thought process, right? We got Zegers, has that open up us up to not having to go center because our need is not as dire any longer, right? We
yeah.
can go BPA. So maybe that's their perspective. Let's go BPA at 6 because we're at 6. We're in the top 10. Let's not reach for need. We can find our center later on at 21 and
22.
at 30. Yeah, 22. Sorry, 22 and 31 there. But yeah. So yeah, Hagen's to Boston.
The question is, do
Flyers get
they
Martone.
now that they didn't get a center, do they trade one of their second round picks and try to move up? I mean, it wouldn't move them up too much, but they could try to move up 3, 4 spots
If they really
to
like someone,
18 if
if they
somebody's
really
available,
like, if
right?
somebody's falling, I mean, what wouldn't it be crazy?
Reshny would be my guy.
Wouldn't it be crazy if I'm the Flyers? Like, wouldn't it be crazy if like a guy like Roger McQueen is falling to 15? You
Dude, I
try to
don't
move
think it would
up.
be shocking.
It wouldn't be that shocking, but I'm saying if he does fall like that, you could maybe see the Flyers move up to try to get him. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it past the Pens though, because they have 2 picks back to
They're gonna
back.
probably take a center. Yeah.
They're gonna want they can take a swing. That's what I mean. They can take a swing on one guy and then a guarantee on the other. They could grab 2 centers, right?
Yeah.
Because I
Definitely.
think they're 11 and 12. So it's still in a pretty good position to do that. Wow. This is This is wild stuff.
Yeah, I'm just sending a tweet.
Good
So
for
as far as you
Higgins.
can
I'm
see
glad he
that.
didn't drop too far down the board. You know,
Yeah.
I ideally he's not in our division, right?
I
So it's
still
like
think he's going to be
cool.
a really, really effective and
I
impactful
mean,
player. Boston got a heck of a player.
even if
So.
he's a winger, he's a hell of a player. It's the same thing I say about Zegers, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
even if Zegers doesn't end up playing center here, right, which I think he will, but let's say he doesn't, he's still got a hell of a player to play on the left wing. You know, it's like you didn't get like a garbage guy.
Yeah. No, of course.
You got a top six forward. You know what I mean? That's what's important. You and we talk about it all the time on a lot of our draft content, right? We say you don't have to get the best player, you have to hit. You know, like the
Exactly.
player's got to be a hit. He's got to be a good player and a contributor on your team, right? So it doesn't have to be the best player in the draft. It's hard to find the best player in the draft, especially after five, right? So it's like if you just get a guy that, you know, like the 2003 draft, right? Like Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, they were both not the best players in that draft, but they hit on both of them, and they were both top line players, top six forwards. You know, it was a huge hit. Hitting on Konechny late in the draft, that's a huge hit. Hitting on Claude Giroux, who ended up being the best
They
player
could.
in
That's
that
what I mean.
draft.
There's guys you can hit on in that 22 range they're at, so you still chance to get a really, really talented player here as well. So
Yeah, and there's a few guys that fall under that camp, and I do wonder, you know, where a guy like Reshny or Bear or any of these guys drop to, even though I do suspect they're going to go high, but we haven't seen any defensemen go yet. And defensemen have a way of crawling their way up the rankings.
I wonder if
So,
we see a D-man not here at 8, but like 8, 9, 10, we see another defenseman because we still, like we
yeah.
said, only Schaefer, right? We mentioned at the top of when we started streaming that like it's pretty strange to only see one defenseman in a top 10 of an NHL
Yeah,
draft.
yeah.
So
I wonder if this is going to be Merca, but now I don't know who because I don't know if Seattle doesn't necessarily need a center. They have some defensemen already. This could be like a Victor Eklund.
yeah, maybe.
They could use a winger, actually. They could use a scoring winger. Damn, Jerry Bruckheimer's a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
It looks like his face was burnt. Jake O'Brien. Okay, good pick. Good pick.
It is a good pick, yeah. And I
Good
mean,
pick
this
for
is
them.
falling pretty similar to what not what a lot of people thought. I think obviously Martin is like the shocking pick, but seeing, Martone go 6, Higgins go 7, I think if you would have said that, it wouldn't have been that like if you would have flipped O'Brien with Martin, it wouldn't have been that surprising, right?
Yeah. Isaiah's happy. If you guys are not aware, O&B Puckcast, Isaiah is the host. He's our sister podcast under Flyers Nitty Gritty. He goes, just thinking about it, Martone is not only a safe pick, but he brings something the Flyers haven't had in a dog's age. I just hope it's going to be an okay. There's going to be an okay at center going forward because I don't know when they're going to be able to get access to this type of high end talent down the middle and subsequent drafts. But people said that before we got Trevor
Yeah.
Zegers as well, that how we end up going to getting one of these
It's
guys.
gonna be, I think, well, we
You can
talked
always
about
figure it out, dude.
we've talked about
You can
this
overpay for it if you
ad
have to.
nauseum. They're gonna have so much cap space next off season. There's gonna be a lot of centers available.
And
so-
they still, I don't think they're going to move their pick for next year, but they have
No.
2 picks in 2027. They could leverage Toronto's
Yeah,
pick,
maybe.
right, in a trade, plus a second round pick, plus a roster player, and go out and get a center. It's a lot. The cost is high, but if you are really desperate and you're like, okay, we need a center now, like, but technically we really don't because I know people aren't that high on Jet Luchenko. I am. You know, you have Luchenko, you have Porter Martone now. You know, you have Bonk. That's one guy in all 3 positions that's high end. You have Michkov, who came in early. You have Zavrajin and it's Zavrajin, by the way. He's Russian. You don't say the G. People keep telling me I say names wrong. My father spoke Russian. I don't say this stuff for no reason. This is interesting. So the Flyers went for size, man.
Yeah, but
They
I
need it
don't think
though.
it's
We don't have
just
anybody
size.
like
Yeah,
him.
but I'm saying I don't think it's just size. Like he's
No, I
also a
agree.
really talented player,
But let's be
and the
honest, if
size is a
Hagens was
factor too.
if Hagens was 6'3", they would have gone with Hagens. Having said that, Hagens wouldn't have made it that far either,
No, he would
right?
have been probably second overall. He was
Yeah,
6'3", so
yeah. Even with the down year, he would have probably
they
gone
went
instead of
best player
Denoyer.
available based on what their scouts believed because obviously they realize they
Denoyer
have
must
a
have been
need.
very high on their
Yeah,
list.
obviously they realize they have a need at center, but despite a really talented center in James Hagens, they went Porter Martone. So that means that they believed that he was the best player over Hagens, right? That's what their scouts are thinking.
I
So
I'm like such a nut with this stuff. Every time I see one of these players who's like really talented with the puck, I'm like, he's young. Why can't we convert him to center? Like we managed to do it with Claude Giroux, who on paper did not look like a center at all. And in his draft year,
it's
you never would
possible,
have said he's
but
a center, you
it's
know?
possible, but it's just like he's never played center, right? So
Right.
it can be hard. It's harder than you think when you get to a high level.
Of course, I obviously, like that's why I say I'm a nut, but my brain goes there every time. Like even with Mitch Marner, and he even more than anybody, because I'm like thinking if Trevor Zegras is a center, why can't Mitch Marner be a center? The guy is in Selke voting. He's lightning fast. He's got great hands. He could probably figure out how to win faceoffs.
Yeah,
He's defensively responsible. Why not? Why can't you make? He's really good at entries. Why can't you make Mitch Marner center? I'm not saying they have to, but like that's my whole thing about Marner. I'll be like, dude, I'll give you the money, but can you play center? If you'll play center here, I'll give you the money. You're here. You're cornerstone now. But to your point, it's like I'm being naive, right? Because it's not,
it's not as easy
like
as you think.
I
Yeah.
get that I'm being naive when I say that.
Yeah, it's awesome. He has a Claude Giroux jersey. Jamie tweeted that out about Martone.
Yeah, just so
But
you
yeah,
guys
I
know,
like
we did invite Jamie on this podcast as well, but he's with his children, so it's a little tough for him.
yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, this I think this is a successful sixth overall pick for the Flyers. You get a guy with top line talent on the right wing, really big player in Martone, 6'3", 208 pounds. And if you think about it and the skill set of Flyers, the Flyers have been lacking over the years. They have not had a power forward of this nature in a while. So think about a potential top six with him and a Tippett, right? Like that's two big bodies. So that's something that's attractive if you look at the way Florida just won, right? This past season, and
Yeah.
their forward core. So obviously you have to mirror that necessarily, but Martone has a heck of a shot too. So just seeing a Mitchcott potentially feeding him,
So
it's not a bad thing either.
this guy Patrick Bacon, which is a great last name.
Okay.
Um, come on. This guy Patrick Bacon, he goes, Flyers just selected Porter Martone sixth. I ranked him second. Martone is the kind of big four that teams often reach for with a high pick like this. Fortunately for Philly, he also brings elite skill and is actually a steal here based on his statistical profile. Projected chance of becoming a star, 82%. Projected chance of becoming an NHLer, 98%.
I wonder if anything's gonna happen with Buffalo and Byram, or that's just not gonna. Apparently, they're not getting what they want for him in
Yeah, well, they're
offers.
screwed. I would just
Yeah.
wait them out.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
have
Yeah,
no they have no
they have
leverage. The
no
player doesn't want to play
leverage.
for them.
Yeah,
They did
pretty
do a
much.
good job in the Paterka trade. They got a good
Yeah,
value.
Kesselring was pretty good
And
considering.
Doan.
And
Yeah.
don't considering that everybody knew Paterka was never signing
Yeah.
there or wanting to go back.
And Doan is young, upside. Kesselring is in his early mid 20s, also young
Yeah.
enough to have upside. They did get a good value at least. I don't know if it makes their team better, but they don't go backwards with a move like that, which I think helps them. Having said that, I don't think they're the only players who want to leave, and they might have to rebuild from scratch again. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, Rasmus Dahlin would kind of make me go nuts.
Hey, that would be a crazy trade. What do we think in the chat, everybody? In terms of Martone, do we like the pick?
Johnny Resnick and Robbie Haycock are on the record with the ninth pick. They've been nominated for Grammys 4 times, and tonight, Goo Goo Dolls members Johnny Resnick and Robbie Haycock are on the record. All right, with the ninth overall selection in the 2025 NHL draft, the Buffalo Sabres are proud to select from the Seattle Thunderbirds, Vadim
Merca.
Yep, there's a defenseman like we were kind of predicting.
There's your
so-
Byram replacement in their mind.
Potentially, yeah. They got some cool special guests. Got the guy for the Goo Goo Dolls. He's looking kind of like weird though.
I thought there was a chance he would even go higher. So the fact that they got him at 9,
yeah.
massive defenseman, really good skater for a guy, especially for a guy his size.
Oh, totally.
It's a good pick.
I agree.
It's a good pick for them. I don't know if it's exactly what they needed, but considering so many players want to leave town, even guys like Darlene are, expressing unhappiness.
It's not necessarily a bad thing to get another defenseman after all
Yeah.
of them seem to want to leave. So
Yeah. And all the best centers are off the board. Though there was a chance they could draft like a guy like not Merca, like Justin Carbonneau or something, like find another,
or even
or
McQueen. I
Ethan
mean,
Bear.
they could have went McQueen.
It could have been,
I mean,
dude. I just think with McQueen, the reality is his stats are not as impressive as people
no,
state
it's a
they are.
lot of it is
It's-
the size.
Right.
which-
It's the size and the potential of what he brings. But based off of his statistical output, he is a mid first round pick.
yeah,
His
agreed,
size makes
totally.
him more valuable. I agree with that. But then that's negated by his injury
by
history.
the injuries. Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's a mid first round
Exactly.
pick guy. We'll see if he makes it past Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm interested. We shall see here. Pittsburgh's at 10 and 11, or who's
Yeah.
at 10 here? Mm,
We're gonna see them build up that identity, but I know that's something that really hurt them last year. We got standing up for
no, it's Anaheim 10. Yeah.
how big he is.
Yeah,
Once he comes out,
Anaheim's who's left on the board
Um,
from the top? They're gonna go somewhat off the board, but toughness.
I think they could go. I don't know. I wonder if like.
So still on the board, McQueen, Eklund.
I wonder if they go Eklund.
Oh, Lyndon Lakovic. That's a guy that I'm surprised didn't go to Buffalo, actually.
I wonder if they go Eklund, to be honest.
Anaheim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's their pick. I think you nailed it. High
see.
intensity, either him or Carter Bear. Both
Yeah,
high
I was gonna say
intensity.
him or I was gonna say him, Bear.
Those are like the most intense guys left on the board.
But I wonder maybe. I mean, they have a lot of D.
Malcolm
so
Spence, but it's too much.
They have a lot of D. Like I wonder. Imagine they go off a little bit off the board and
Atchison.
go Sean Atchison. Yeah.
They like actually that's a great thought because they would like him. Obviously, Verbeek is picking players
It's
with
about
grit
the toughness and grit.
over. But from what I understand about Eklund is that he is very gritty. He's
super
small,
gritty
but he's
player,
very
yeah.
gritty. And they just lost Trevor Zegras, right, on the left wing that they had in the NHL level.
Yeah, so maybe they're like, hey, this is somebody.
Yeah, we could pencil this guy in next year in our left wing. I mean, they do have Trader Gauthier. I think Jackson Smith is Jackson Smith is going to Penn State, which is huge for Penn State program. Penn State was like an afterthought in D1, NCAA. It's a big deal to us here, obviously. But I wonder because the rumor is that what's his name, Gavin McKenna is down to 2 players or 2 teams for where he's going to go to college, one of which is Penn State. And if Penn State gets Gavin McKenna and Jackson Smith, that
that's
stadium,
crazy,
dude,
it's a crazy team, first of all, in terms of
Yeah.
like what they're gonna be able to do on the
And
ice. So.
and the rumors of McKenna going to the Penguins is going to go through the roof at that
Oh
point.
yeah, with Penn State.
Yeah.
They're gonna really be tanking for the next Crosby. Let's see who Anaheim picks, and then we'll probably call it. Yeah, we'll probably do the top 10, everybody, then we're gonna drop out. And then we'll have some content on all the draft picks here.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't planning on doing the whole first round. We were just gonna do it through the Flyers' first
Well,
pick, but we're
dude,
gonna
think
do
about-
post.
Yeah, we're gonna do
draft
post
videos.
content, but think about how long they're taking. We're gonna be on here for 3-4 hours, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to.
Also, I want to watch footage of Porter Martone now.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I don't want to label myself as a like. We know about the draft. We're knowledgeable about the draft. Like I knew about the top 10 guys, 15 guys. Once we get out of the first round, man, like, you know, it's hard. It's hard to know for sure. If only we didn't have to work all day, we could watch hockey highlights and tape. That'd be great. Then we
Wow.
really bring the content.
I just posted this and I already have 104 likes on it.
That's crazy.
And it was welcome to Philly Porter Martone. I go, you can't complain about this, even if you wanted Hagens. I guess a lot of people agree.
Yeah.
That is the case. I mean, that's how I feel. You know, I wanted Hagens. I'm happy with Porter Martone. You know,
oh yeah, same.
I'm not silly.
I wanted Hagens too. I stated this as well on Twitter, right? Like, and on the pod with the Flyers selecting Martone over Hagens. It's clear they went BPA with their selection, even though they need more center depth. They went with Martone right wing. That signifies that Martone was the best player available to the scouts, right?
Yeah.
To their scouts, he was the best player. So I don't have a problem whatsoever with that.
And last time we selected a right winger, it turned out to be a franchise player. So
yeah, works out.
I hope you guys are okay with us not doing this all night.
They'll be all right.
We can still trade up for McQueen. Imagine, look, Christopher O'Donnell. I will say, if McQueen drops low enough, it probably is worth it. Yeah, to do that because he still projects to be, in my opinion, a second line center. His numbers aren't bad; they're just not elite. Yeah, Charlie Conway and Julie the Cat Daphne.
That's a great way to end it with the
I love
Anaheim
it,
Ducks cast, man. That's
what a
awesome.
great idea. Wow, she looks great.
Dude, you know what's hilarious is they actually
amazing.
brought back like the Mighty Ducks season with Gordon Bombay. They did the first season with Emilio Estevez, and then we're just like, actually, we can't pay Emilio Estevez anymore, and then just did a second season without him. I'm like, how could you do Mighty Ducks without Emilio Estevez? It's like, that's a crime, bro.
I think what we're talking about is 3 years ago.
Who do you think it's gonna be? Who do you think they're gonna go with Eklund?
I think Eklund's a really good guess, dude. I think it's a really it could be Atchison.
I'm saying Eklund or Atchison, but let's watch us.
They're gonna go with somebody who can hit. Somebody who can hit, somebody who's fiery. They're not going with anybody no passive players.
Agreed.
No perimeter players for this team.
Selection in the 2025 NHL draft. The Anaheim Ducks are proud to select from the Brandon Wheat King.
Oh, Roger McQueen.
Boy, I was wrong.
That is not
in my face.
Expected.
In my face. It just shows you we're not draft experts.
Yeah, we are not. Yeah, so that is the reason we are dropping on actually. But yeah, that's a crazy.
No, but he doesn't go to the Pens.
No, he doesn't go to the Pens. So that's
he
also
doesn't go
good.
to the Pens.
There you go. I think the Flyers, it's a win. I said it before the draft, right? Like I tweeted it out and essentially stated, what did I state? If the Flyers select any of Hagens, Martone, or Desnoyers, it's a win. Well, they got Porter Martone, so it's a win. In terms of, their 6th overall pick. What happens with you know, what happens with 22 and 31, we will see. But we're gonna have recorded content, like a draft card type of video that we usually do for this stuff. So we'll have Martone, we'll have the 22nd pick, we'll have the 31st pick. So it'll be
Assuming they
probably
make them. Yeah.
assuming they make them, it'll probably be like an hour's worth of 3 videos. Probably 20 minutes each or something like that.
Now, you did have a back end break. It was a
Can't believe we still have 2 picks.
Yeah, right.
Christopher
could
O'Donnell,
be-
I would have gone
this could
Eklund over
be,
McQueen. Okay, well, hopefully
this
we
could-
get Eklund.
Yeah, we maybe if he falls, I doubt it, but this could be one of the signature first rounds of Danny Briere's regime, right? Just in terms of selections, like that Michkov first round with him and Bonk, and then this first round, depending on who else they select with the other 2 picks. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I would say that with Martone, the Flyers have, that potential first line power forward type winger. Really, upped his playmaking ability in the OHL with Brampton this season, while still remaining a really effective goal scorer with 37 goals. So we will see obviously what happens with Martone, and if he's a guy that has a chance to challenge for even the Flyers, because he was, a guy that made the World Championship team for Canada. So interesting stuff. But crazy to me that Brady Martin selected at 5 allowed the Flyers out of their
Would
pick
you
of
rather have
Martone
McQueen or
Higgins.
Martin?
I would take Martin over McQueen. Yeah. I think the injury is just too scary for me with
Yeah.
everything with Nolan Patrick,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
we're burnt on that one.
All right, cool.
All right,
So
let's call it.
yeah,
All right, thank you everybody for joining. We'll do more of these in the future, and appreciate you guys hanging out with us while we got through some of the first round here. Again, we'll have videos in the post game or the post draft, and hopefully you guys enjoy that stuff. And Vasili and I will be on them, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And thank you all.
Warder Martone.
Yeah, always stay gritty, All right, thanks guys.